What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. I want to address something really quickly. I know I haven't posted in a while. The reason for that is we haven't gotten any bikes in that I haven't reviewed that also haven't left the same day. Meaning, whenever Timms gets a bike in here, a lot of times it's either sold before it gets here, so they took a deposit on it, it's already, a customer bike, or the day that it comes off the truck, it sells. So we've had a CVO Street Glide, which is what we're gonna review in this video. That's why you clicked on it. We've had one of those before. It actually came in a long time ago, but it was already sold, and it got gone before I got a chance to review it. So there was no models that we haven't already talked about. As you can see, if you check through all the videos that I've posted, I've done almost all of them at this point. Luckily, we got this one in. It's not sold yet, so we're going to be able to review that. And as far as the Versus series, there was just no bikes that make sense. So every once in a while, I get comments, someone wants me to compare, say, a Fat Boy to a Street Glide Special. They're just so very different. That's such an individualized comparison for someone. I wish that I could take the time to do it just for those certain people that want to see it, but I can't. So the Versus series is only going to be bikes that really make sense, and we just haven't had two that make sense to put in a head-to-head. Now that that's out of the way, let's get down to business. Today we're going to review the 2021 CVO Street Glide in Great White Pearl. Now this bike also comes in bronze armor, which is the colorway of the Road Glide CVO that I did a review on. I'll put the link for that video in the description. It also comes in sunset orange, sunset black fade. Now, out of the three colors, I definitely like this one the most. When we do the walk around, you will see why. And really quickly, before we jump into the video, just as a reminder, check out First Manufacturing. They make premium motorcycle riding apparel, pants, vests, t-shirts, hats, all kind of good stuff. Check them out. Use my code SNIPES15 for 15% off. Before we jump into the details, we'll do a quick walk around just so you can see this thing up close. Normally, I'm not huge on CVO paint schemes. However, this one is a big exception to that rule. I really do like what they've done with this one. I like what they're doing with CVOs overall. Granted, I'm not a CVO customer, so maybe they shouldn't appeal to guys like me, but just the toned down colors, I guess we'll say. Some of the wilder stuff was never for me, but as you can see on this paint set, man, it's absolutely phenomenal. It's hard to pick up on camera, I think, but the red has some real fine flake to it, as does the white. The black doesn't, which I think makes a really nice contrast. But that's it, guys. We'll jump into these details now. So starting with the tank, just like we always do, I absolutely love this. I love the font. Like I said, it's hard to see on camera, but there is very fine metal flake in that red, which really makes it pop when you get up close. So I like this tank graphic. I love the font they used on there. You do have the badge here, and I actually like that badge. It looks a little small on the tank, but for me it works. Like normally a small badge on a tank of that size, that's a 6-gallon tank, looks kind of out of place. For me, for some reason that works. You see it sticks off the side a little bit, but it's just got a really nice fit and finish. I think Harley did a great job all the way around on this tank. That's the center console. If you haven't seen the newer CVO style console, that's what it looks like. Pretty low profile from the side. I think they did a really good job all the way around on that one. Now, another thing I really want to give Harley some credit for was these gauges. I mean, I don't know how those could be any better. It's kind of like a high-end watch almost. Maybe like a nice sports car. It just looks really good. The fit and finish on the CVOs is, it's the top of the line, top of the food chain. That's what you're paying all the money for, is all these little extra details. And you have to spend some time, like we're gonna do in this video, to kind of go over all those little details to appreciate the price difference in the CVO and just say a Street Glide Special. But those gauges are a big one. Obviously you see you have the upgraded speakers, the Rockford Fosgate collaboration. I really like that they did that because I've seen a lot of people take their factory Harley speakers out and go to Rockford, so it just made sense that they join up and work together on that. One thing that may not stand out to a lot of people but was really big on me were these mirrors. I really like the way these things mount. I really like the way they move. So they are a little stiff. For one, this is a brand new bike, but also so they don't move on you. But I do like that because once you get it into position, it's not gonna move. And the reason I like that, I'll show you a Street Glide Special in just a second and show you those mirrors, which aren't bad, but when you compare them to these, it's a pretty big difference. Here, let's step over here really quickly. And this is your Street Glide Special mirror. Fit and finish leaves a little bit to be desired, honestly. I mean, you can kind of see where you've got a little cutout for the movement there. Again, moves fine. It's gonna wiggle around once you get it in place. However, just not nearly as finished as the rest. And then on street glides, I tend to prefer a 12-inch bar, which actually puts your bars and your hands right here in the way of the mirrors. So if you do that, you can just put mirrors on the handlebars that drop down. I like to switch them like I've mentioned in other videos. So this lowrider here will serve that purpose. You take this mirror off, put it on this side, and you mount it underneath the bars so it's underswung. It keeps the top of these bikes really clean, and then they make just a little plug that will go in there and plug that hole. Now it is a flat finished plug. It's not painted to match. You might could get one, or if you know a painter, get him to paint yours, but that's just a solution I noticed, and that will also apply to this CVO over here. If you were to put 12-inch bars, your mirrors will be no good. Also up here on the bars, you see you have these really nice finished grips. They look really good. So I always ride with gloves. Even when it's hot, I ride in like a motocross style glove. So this wouldn't be a big deal for me. However, keep in mind these little metal pieces on a hot sunny day, if you park your bike in the sun, those babies are gonna heat up pretty good. So keep that in mind. Also, you'll see you do get the heated grips, as you should on a $40,000+ motorcycle. Moving around to the front, you get a different windshield than the normal street glides come with. It's kind of got that upswept kind of kickback to it. Works a lot better. You know, you wouldn't think it's not a huge difference, but it does make a huge difference. So visually, I think it looks good. It's still pretty low profile and clean. Makes a big difference. Again, with the paint, I just cannot stress this enough. And maybe, like I said, because I don't typically love the CVO paint schemes, I do really like this one. Obviously, you get the Daymaker headlight, and I'm just now noticing that's not the Daymaker, you know, from, I don't know when they started doing that one, honestly. But this one looks a lot better. You see you've got the LEDs that go all the way around. This might be for 21. Let me know down in the comments, because I'm not familiar with when they changed that Daymaker headlight to look like that. And I know the reflection is awful. I apologize, guys. But that headlight does look really good. And if you watch my videos, you'll know I'm very critical of Harley for their turn signals. This one, they did give us LEDs, so I don't get to knock them on that. You get the braided brake lines, which again, not a huge deal, but it's all these little bitty details that make the CVO so special. Another thing that I really have to point out are these wheels. These are called the Fugitive wheels, and I absolutely love these. If I had a Street Glide Special, I would look at trying to buy some takeoffs if I could find a good deal and put these on there over some of the aftermarket wheels I've seen. Honestly, I think these look great. I love how thin the spokes are, but I love the design. They look super strong. So it was odd to me that they did these wheels on the CVO Street Glide, but they did those spoke wheels on the Road Glide CVO. I didn't hate those spoke wheels on the Road Glide CVO. I liked how different they were. However, I think they definitely should have gone with these wheels on that Road Glide. Let me know what you think on that one. I really like this painted chin spoiler down here on the bottom. It's kind of dirty right now. You can see I did the test ride on this bike already, so I got a little bit dirty. We'll have to clean that up. However, I think that white ties in the rest of the bike really nicely. Makes the frame look a little better, hides some of that, you know, not so good looking stuff. You do have the smaller crash bar here, like we've talked about in previous videos that Harley switched to on the touring bikes for this year. I like that one much, much more. Typically I take them off. This one I may leave on just because it is low profile. You do get the hill shifter on the CVO, which they've taken away on all the other touring models, I would imagine for 40 grand. So I guess that's the magic number to get a hill shifter. Spend 40 grand and we'll give you one from the factory. Try to get you guys a close up of this engine here. See, even your shift linkage, you know, so much nicer, you know, nice chrome bolts, painted black linkage, like it just looks a lot better. We'll jump over one more time really quickly. Looks a lot better than that one. Your floorboards are gonna fit the same, you know, fit and finish as your grips there. A nice collection that they do on the CVOs. Passenger pegs are really nice. I've knocked Harley for the cheap passenger pegs that they've put, especially on like the Softail models. They're about as cheap as you can get. These are pretty premium. They've got a nice feel, a nice look. You don't have to change those unless you want to for personal preference, whereas the other ones are kind of cheesy to me. I would definitely change those. Same thing, you get little, you know, rubber covers here on your shifters. Keep your shoes nice and clean. I know some guys don't care, but a lot of guys do. Rockford Fosgate in the back, just like the front. Made into the bag there. Looks really nice. Painted black. Saddlebag latches, I like those. So if you've never seen a CVO key, I think I've shown them several times on this channel, but this is what they look like. Got the little pop-out barrel key, which is nice. You can lock and unlock your saddlebags and stuff from the remote, which is really nice. It's just a good upgrade from the typical barrel key and little plastic security fob that come on the other bikes. Also, I guess I'll show you really quickly. So lock, you can hear your saddlebags locking up, flashes your lights, sets the security alarm on the bike. Then you unlock it, same thing. You get the noise, the lights flash to let you know that it's unlocked. While we have this bag open, you see that you do get bags from Harley that fit the shape of the saddlebag. So if you're traveling, it's really nice because you can fill it up, kind of lets you know what's gonna fit, what's not. If the bag will close, it's probably gonna fit in that saddlebag. You get your headset with the bike there. That's your amp for the speakers. They just put a nice little cover over that. But I mean, even that, you know, the Harley branded little logo in there. Again, with the fit and finish, just everything a little bit nicer over the top. Look in the other bag just to show you what you get. So you get another bag that matches. This is your bike cover. These CVO bike covers are super, super nice. To me, they're a little bit better than the ones you can buy, just the regular ones. So that's nice. You see down in there. These are the stretched bags, so you've got that tiny bit more room over the non-stretched bags. They're doing stretch bags on the special model Street Glides, not the standard. It doesn't really make that much more difference for your storage capacity. And then one thing it does do too is it gives you cutouts for the exhaust, which is really nice when you're running a dual exhaust setup. It does look really clean. However, if you wanted to switch to say a 2-in-1 pipe, then you're gonna have this cutout over here with nothing in it. So that's gonna kind of look funny. May or may not bug you. It would bug me. So I'm not the biggest fan of the stretch bags unless you're running the dual exhaust, and then it does look pretty good. I do like these tail lights here. Really clean, really nice. They've got a really good feel to them. Like everything on the CVO, guys, it feels really premium. Like when you put your hands on it, you can tell it's a well-made product. You know, sometimes you grab something made of plastic and it just feels cheap. These are really nice. The seat, obviously no exception. This seat feels great, it looks great. Again, to the touch, super premium feel. You get a nice little passenger pillion here. I mean, even the seat bolt, like you'd think it's not a huge deal, but let's jump back over to this special really quickly. I mean, that's just a plain old screw that you can get at the local hardware store. So there is a pretty big difference there. Step back so you can see it. I love this coating that they do on the heat shields on the exhaust. Looks really, really good. It's kind of got that brushed, like bronze look to it. Obviously, you get the big 117 motor, which you'll see me ride in just a minute. Big fan of that thing. So when the 110s first came out and people were swapping those, you know, or upgrading those to a 117, those things were awesome. Now you get it from the factory. Harley tends to do that in stages though. So, you know, there was a time where the 103 was the CVO motor and then things came stock with it. So it seems like they do a CVO motor for a couple years and then they start putting them in the touring bikes and then upgrade the CVO. So I'm curious when the normal touring bikes will get the 117 and then what they're gonna go to for the new CVO engine. If you have any ideas, any speculations what they may do, they normally don't do huge jumps. So I would say probably the 121, which would be hilarious because I remember when the 120R was a huge deal and an insane motor and stuff like that, and soon that's what these are gonna come with, and I don't know when it stops, you know what I mean? So does it go to the 131 eventually, or you know, a 150 10 years from now? All right guys, we're about to get this thing out and do the test ride, but before we do that, I wanted to give you one final walk around. Now I know we did a good bit of comparing this to a Street Glide Special. I'm going to film an additional video that should be out in just a few days where we do a side-by-side comparison of a CVO and a Street Glide Special, just so you can see every little detail that you get for such a big difference in money. So that's it. Let's get this thing out and go for a ride. Alright guys, I'm going to keep this test ride footage very, very short, mostly because this video is very long already. There was a lot to go over. The CVO has a lot of stuff going on, so I want to keep it short for that. And then also, as you can see, we're using the helmet mount for this, but with the windshield height and stuff, you kind of have a blocked view. I like it. I think it's better than you know, some of the other options, but that said, we're going to keep this short. So I wanted to talk about a couple of the things. I will talk about the test ride too, so those that stuck around to, like, you know, see how this thing actually rides, we'll jump into that really quickly. But who is the CVO for? To me, the CVO is for the person that wants a really nice custom turnkey bike. I know a lot of us enjoy the process of doing little things, adding little things here and there, but I've also met a lot of people that don't want to do that. They want to get on the bike, they want to ride it, they don't want to have to keep taking it to the shop or, you know, taking things apart in their garage and setting things up. Like I said, a lot of us enjoy it, a lot of people don't. I also wanted to talk about dealer markup because I know this thing's listed just under 41,000-ish MSRP on Harley's website, and I know they go for a lot more. They always have, the CVOs always have, and I know some dealerships haven't marked theirs up, they haven't done that. But with bike supply being super low overall, I think you're going to see more of that. And then with them doing, I haven't seen anything official. I've just heard word, you know, in dealerships and stuff like that, that they're making less CVOs than previously. So I would expect, you know, markup. Just something I wanted to throw out there. So talking about the test ride experience, one thing obviously I can't show you would be the speakers on this bike. They sound absolutely amazing. Like, the audio quality is phenomenal. I can't play it because in the video we'll get a copyright strike. Also, you would be hearing it through the GoPro microphone, not the actual speaker sound experience, so it still wouldn't translate. But trust me when I say these are great. If you've got a CVO down at your local dealership, I'm sure they'd be happy to turn it on for you and let you listen to that. I also wanted to point out the fact that this 117 is an absolute monster. So you can put it in third or fourth gear, and that's like most of your riding, unless you're on the highway. I mean, it was cruising comfortably at 70-ish miles an hour, you know, in third or fourth gear. RPM's low, and the throttle on this thing was super, you'll see in just a second towards the end of this video. You'll see, you know, I'm kind of blipping the throttle, and that wasn't to build the channel name. That was just because a lot of the Harleys don't have a super responsive throttle. They're the fly-by-wire, it's electronic, there's a slight delay. This one doesn't have that delay, man. Like if you hit a bump and it kind of makes your wrist, you know, roll down just a little bit, you're gonna give it some gas, which I like. I want the peppiness, I want the responsiveness. This thing handles like an absolute dream. I know at 40 grand plus, it's a ton of money. This thing is so incredibly smooth, so incredibly powerful. It's kind of made me rethink the way I looked at CVO. Honestly, I kind of, you know, had a negative view of it just based on the fact that, I don't know, it was either because it was so much money or, you know, whatever it was, but now this has completely changed my mind on it. Like, this is an amazing bike. And if I had the cash to go CVO, I probably would. I would use that as my starting platform. The only reason I like the other bikes, you know, as a starting platform is I just don't have that kind of cash to play with, so I need to use some of that money. That said, guys, that's gonna wrap it up for this video. Thanks for watching, especially if you stuck around all the way to the end. My next video I put out, I will compare this to a Street Glide Special. So if you want to see like a side-by-side comparison, I know we compared a lot, but we'll do a straight versus series style video of that. And then I've got another good versus video coming up along the way. Please subscribe if you haven't. Give the video a thumbs up. Do all the normal YouTube stuff. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. As always, any feedback on the video, what you liked, what you didn't like, is encouraged. Any other comments you want to leave, also very highly encouraged. Thanks for watching, guys.